And see if this shows up. Abby, you should see the Crowdcast thing change shortly.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'm going to mute myself.
And I am going, as soon as I see this slide, I'm going to start the video. All right. Video is starting.
Hello, I'm Britt Udison, Executive and Artistic Director at the Loft Literary
I feel
Center.
really nervous.
Welcome
Me
to this
too.
live stream at Virtual Wordplay. I'm so glad you're here with us. Before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about what brought us here today. For the last year, the Loft staff has been working hard to put together an outdoor book festival that would have gathered 100 authors with 10,000 visitors in our neighborhood in downtown Minneapolis. As COVID-19 hit, we knew we had to think about everything we do differently, especially this festival. While we were disappointed that we wouldn't be able to gather in person, we became even more committed to supporting writers, celebrating new books, and finding the connective power of the written word. In a time of anxiety, we want to offer a powerful event for readers, writers, and booksellers. When we first approached our sponsors, their first question was, what is a virtual festival? And to be honest, we didn't know. Our founding partners, St. Catherine University and Star Tribune, agreed to make a leap of faith with the Loft. With courage, generosity, and vision, they have worked alongside us to figure out what this virtual festival might become. We are grateful to our sponsors and donors. Their generosity is incredible, but it is not enough. We believe it is essential, especially during a health and financial crisis, to offer programs that are free and accessible to all. But that has led to a significant revenue loss. A live event would have included ticket revenue, beer sales, exhibitor fees, and additional sponsorships. The Loft is not closed. We continue to offer classes, fellowships, conversations, support for readers and writers in addition to this festival. We are here to support the literary community, and we ask that you continue to support us. If you are able, please consider making a contribution to the Loft today. Thank you for being here.
Happy birthday. Oh, that might have been my mic that was on. I see that somebody saw that I was talking. So we're learning with you. I'm Steph Opitz. I am the founding director of the Loft Wordplay Book Festival. This is definitely not the day or way I thought I'd be talking to you about this festival, but obviously a lot has changed in the last month. It's been about a month since we decided to transition this festival into a virtual event with the mounting concerns about the COVID-19 virus. So it feels exciting, and it also feels strange to focus on anything, but the pressing health concerns. But we would love to be here to use art to comfort and educate and connect to you while we're all practicing safe social distancing at home. So everything is changing very quickly every day. The transition to a virtual wordplay had to be a fairly quick decision. But since that moment, we've tried to slow down as much as possible and think about what would be the most interesting and innovative way we could get to readers and writers together. A book festival is always trying to solve the question of how to build a community around very private practices, reading and writing. But now we're going to do that on a larger scale. And while it's frustrating not to be able to gather in person with our local community to celebrate some of the best books out right now, it's exciting to think about how we can reach a much larger audience of book lovers, folks who might not have had access to a wordplay-like event in their town, and having something to do together in these isolating times. So we are here today to answer questions. I'm going to go over a few things, but feel free to type questions, and my right-hand partner in all of this, Abby, will chime in at some point to notify me of them because I can't read and talk at the same time. But it's exciting to practice this and figure out, how we're going to get this out to the world. I believe right now I'm also on YouTube and Facebook, so that's a little weird to be talking to a silent room, but I'll just assume every time I make a joke, you guys are laughing hysterically. Wordplay will start next week officially on April 7th. All of our events are going to be free. We are going to be using a variety of formats to try to get to as many folks as possible. We'll have things here like you're using, or if you're on YouTube or Facebook. We'll have Instagram events, we'll have Twitter events, we'll have podcasts, and some printed conversations as well. So and hopefully some stuff on the radio too. So we're using all the ways that we can possibly get to as many people. But if you're somebody who's like, Instagram is just not for me, that's okay. There's going to be plenty of events that will be living elsewhere during this. We're going to be doing about 8 events a week. So we're really excited to be telling you about those every Friday. The week before, we will be announcing what will be happening the following week. So if you want to be informed of that, the easiest to loft.org/e-newsletter. That way you will get the newsletter when it comes out every Friday telling you what's going to be happening and where and when, or you can keep checking loftwordplay.org. It'll also be on our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. So we will be communicating as much as possible to let you all know how you can find this information. And what you're doing right now, listening to me, is going to be similar to some of our events. It's just going to be as easy as clicking onto that link, registering, and you'll get notified when it's starting, and you can listen on your phone or your computer. It's very exciting and amazing how much easier it is than I thought it would be. And maybe the same goes for all of you, but our wonderful Chris Jones figured this all out, and now here we are. In addition to working with all of our authors to come up with programming, we're very fortunate to have a ton of book festivals who some had to cancel given their timing. Some are still hoping to happen later this year, but they signed on to help us program some events to spread the word, from Wisconsin to Portland and Boston, all these great community members joining in. So it's going to be a big party of book lovers across the globe. We'll have live stream events like this. We'll have user-generated content where you're writing in questions in advance or right now. We'll have contests. There'll be archived videos, like I said, podcasts, social media takeovers, which if that means nothing to you, it's sort of like an author uses one of our social media accounts or a hashtag and does an interview or a conversation that way. Which leads me to the first event that we are going to be talking about. The rest you'll find out on Friday in the newsletter. But we are so thrilled to have hometown hero Jessie Diggins, Olympic gold medal winner from Afton, Minnesota, who has her debut memoir, Brave Enough, out with U of M Press. She is going to join us on April 7th at 11 a.m. CST, and she's going to talk about her book, take questions. She'll be on here live, and then at the end of that, she will be doing a 15-minute Olympic workout. And I'm using the term Olympic to be cute. It's going to be all skill levels. So it's Olympic in that an Olympian is doing it, but I will be able to do it, and so will you. So that will be really fun to celebrate and kick off with Jessie Diggins on April 7th at 11 a.m. That is the basic kind of overview of what we're doing. So I'm going to ask Abby now if there are any questions in the internet audience that I can answer.
Great. Hi, everybody. Well, we have 2 to start with, and if you have a couple more, feel free to add them into the comments, and I will be sure to read them out for Steph. But the first one is, why is the festival 5 weeks instead of just one big day?
That is a great question. Since it's not a live in-person event, we didn't need to do it all in one day. And we also figured that nobody would want to sit on their computer from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. like the original Wordplay had planned. So now that we are all home and looking for ways to connect and books to read, we wanted to start giving you stuff to look forward to sooner and not bombard you. So that's why we're doing just about 8 events a week and up until the original Wordplay date of May 9th.
Great. So that already answered the next question, which is how long does the virtual festival last, which is until May 9th, which is when the festival would have been.
Yeah, and I'll add too that some events, the events will all range in terms of the time frame. Some events will be 15 minutes, some will be an hour. We'll let you know that when you are looking at the newsletter, but there'll be a variety because we know that people have so much going on right now and our days are unpredictable. So we're just trying to give you times where you can really bundle or cozy up, I guess, and sit down and listen, and other times where you can just move around and do a workout or check in for 15 minutes. So it's going to be a variety of times and dates and yeah.
Great. Next question is, will a full schedule be released?
We won't do one comprehensive schedule, and that's just because we're really reinventing what we were planning to do in person. So obviously we have only had a few weeks to be figuring this out, and we're just kind of releasing stuff as we plan it. So that's why we're just doing a handful announcement rather than telling you what's going to happen today for the next 5 weeks, because we don't know yet. And we need to, work with the authors about their schedules. And also we're just really trying to be innovative with technology and learning different things that we can do. And as we go, we'll see what people are liking and if there's different times of day or different types of activities. So we feel like if we do about 8 a week, we can learn with you on what's working for everyone.
Great. Will many of the authors originally scheduled to be at Wordplay be in the virtual festival?
Yes. So while things are changing quite a bit, all of the authors that we're working with were very enthusiastic about trying to make this switch work. Some of them, out of their control, have had their publication date changed to fall, and that's, goes as far back as the printer's decision. So as we learn about authors whose publication date is no longer within the time frame of our new virtual festival, we'll let you know. We may still work with some of them in some capacity, but you might just have to wait to hear from later this fall.
Great. Next question. If I want to support authors, is there a specific place I can buy their books?
Yes. That's, something we are very passionate about here, is supporting the authors and the work that they do and buying their books now more than ever. So we will have at each session, I think right here, buy it now button for the authors who are speaking. And I think right there, I'm not looking at the same screen y'all are, but I think right there's a button that you could click on to see the entire Wordplay book catalog and purchase books now if you'd like to. We're working with the independent bookstores that we had set out to work with for the in-person Wordplay, and then also with bookshop.org. And we're so excited to not only support authors, but to support our indie booksellers. So shout out to Milkweed and Majors and Quinn and Moon Palace and Red Balloon. they will be supporting book sales in addition to bookshop.org. So we're going to get you the books, and we'd love for you to, buy them while you're listening to authors and support them in that way.
Great. As someone tuning in, how does Crowdcast work for a viewer?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that it works the way that you see it right now. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I guess you might be seeing a different view, but basically you will be able to register for the events. So like you registered for today's or clicked on the link, and then it'll just be a screen like opening a website on your phone or computer. I'm looking to my Crowdcast guru, Chris, right now to see if he shakes his head no at anything I'm saying. But and so, yeah, this is us experimenting with you so you know what it would look like to use Crowdcast. And this is it. It's super simple, and it's going cross platforms right now. You don't have to be some sort of tech expert. It's just what it looks like right now.
Great. If there is an author that wants to participate in an event, how would they begin that process, and is it possible?
So because we're, reinventing our original festival and trying to get this together in such a fast time frame, we are not looking at new authors for the festival. We're committed to serving the authors that we planned on working with. So if there's an author who wants to get involved in the future, our submissions open in June for the 2021 festival. But for now, we're kind of at capacity because we don't want to do a disservice to the folks that we already plan to work with. I wish we had the bandwidth to do more, but we're just, we're learning, and we're really committed to showcasing the folks that we were going to work with.
Will there be any sort of online workshop opportunities with any of the authors?
We are working on that right now. Our hope is that, yes, there will be some online workshops like there would have been at the in-person festival. So we would be doing that closer to May and announcing that around that time. But we're working with the software on how to make that feel as in-person-y as possible. And the Loft in general is really working on how to rethink our classes and the software that we're going to use to do that. So when we plan to do that and announce it, it will be likely much closer to the May 9th date. But our plan is to do some online workshops, yes.
Can you mention a few of the authors who have already agreed to participate in the virtual festival?
Yeah, I can definitely mention that. Jesse Diggins. We're working on some stuff. I want to look at my list to make sure I don't say anybody that's not totally confirmed right now. But we are in the process of working on some events with Denez Smith, with Samantha Irby, with C. Pam Zhang, Claire Comstock-Gay. We are working on something with Benjamin Percy. So we have some really fun things that we're working with these different people, and some of them are going to feel really outside of the box, which is going to be, we all think, really awesome. So once we have all the things finalized and their dates set, we'll announce it, but I don't want to tell you too much until it's set in stone. But just know that there'll be a lot of fun things that you'll want to tune into. And Jesse Diggins' workout is just the beginning of how far we want to push all these online activities.
Is there a way for original sponsors or exhibitors to be involved?
Yes. Again, I'm not looking at the same screen as you guys, but I'm assuming you can see that the Star Tribune and St. Kate's are very prominently still supporting us, which we're thrilled about. And we are, of course, looking like all arts organizations right now for financial support to keep this festival going. So, one way to get involved would be to give us money. Other ways to get involved, we'll be partnering with different authors and different themes for events throughout. So if there was a sponsor or an exhibitor who wanted to get involved, you should definitely email Britt Udesen, Udesen, Udesen at loft.org for ideas there. But there are the field is wide open in terms of what we might be able to do. And it's exciting to be online because our audience is that much bigger for our exhibitors or sponsors. So definitely talk to us. There's some creative things that we're working on with some of our exhibitors and sponsors behind the scenes right now. But again, because it's all happening so fast, I don't want to accidentally reveal something until it's totally locked and loaded.
Great. Let's see. We've got a couple people asking about wordplay merchandise and signed books. Is there potential for that in the virtual festival, or is that something we have to circle back on?
There is not a plan for wordplay merchandise this year. In terms of signed books, we are talking to publishers about how we can do something like that. So that has not yet been worked out. Most publishers are not in their offices at this point. So it's going to be a little bit challenging to figure out ways to kind of make your book special and personal and related to this year's wordplay. But we are talking with folks to figure out ways we might be able to do that.
Great. And let's see. Looks like one more question that we kind of touched on already, but just to clarify, will they be at a certain time every day?
They will not. They'll be kind of across the board. We'll have some in the morning, some in the evenings, some in the afternoon. It kind of depends on the author's availability and what the particular event may be that might set a time. We're definitely going to be doing some happy hours with some authors. So obviously that won't be a 9 a.m. sort of thing. And we're just going to kind of give a wide range of times and dates so that you can access it differently, but they will all be recorded and archived. So if you miss something, it will still be available for you to get from the Loft website. So don't worry about, if you miss the live thing. The benefit for when an event is live is a lot of them will have write-in questions like what you're doing right now. So you have an author really excited to ask some questions to, you'd want to be at the live event because there won't be an ability to ask questions later. We may be doing some asks for pre-gathering questions before an event, but that remains to be seen. But the definite benefit to seeing the live event is to be able to interact in the way that you're interacting with me right now.
How are other book festivals incorporated? How are we working with them?
Well, like everything, we're inventing that as we go. So some festivals will be providing some moderators for us. Some will be just spreading the word. And some might kind of combine some of our programming with theirs in a panel discussion. So we are talking with all of those festivals, seeing what makes the most sense for each organization, and just trying to really support authors in the best way that we can. So it's really exciting to have all these other festivals around the country working with us, because that will get more eyes on the authors. And it's just a really cool way, I think, for the national literary community to be in this kind of big book club together.
Great. Well, it looks like you've touched on all the questions from the audience, so
awesome.
No stop there.
Well, I will just say as a reminder that if you want to get Friday announcements, you need to sign up for the newsletter. It's loft.org/e-newsletter. Or you can check our website, loftwordplay.org, for events as we list them. They'll be on our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. Do we do TikTok? I don't think so.
No, unfortunately.
Our social media guru, Rachel, is just shaking her head no at me right now. Yeah, TikTok yet, but we're all figuring these things out. But yes, you can find information wherever you can find us. And a reminder that all the events will be free. They will have unlimited amount of seats. So if you can't get onto Crowdcast, which does have a cap in the audience size, do check it out on YouTube or Facebook, and know that all the events are accessible for you in that way. I think that's kind of it. But we're so excited to try this. It's it's an isolating time, and we're so excited to gather with you all and talk about books and use books as a way to sort of understand and navigate and laugh and be comforted and connect as we figure out what is happening in the world. So thank you so much for being here today, and please do show up for our authors and support them by buying their books and showing up for their events and spreading the word. It would mean so much to us to have thousands of people show up and see all of these authors talk about their latest books. And then we hope to see you in person in 2021 on the streets of Minneapolis. So thank you again for tuning in, and this will be recorded and you can access it. So like all of our events, this is something that you can return to. Not that you'd want to, I certainly don't, but if you missed a question or want to share it with my mom, it's here. Thank you so much.